In program 4 of CSC 517, we re-implemented the assignment controller and model. In this video, I'll walk you through all the routes that we have added. This is the Swagger of the application. We need to authenticate the Swagger first to be able to access our assignment controller and model routes. Once we have the token from, we're using the login route of our Swagger to authenticate our, to authorize the Swagger. Once we have our token, we'll authorize. Once that is done, we'll be able to access all the routes. These are the routes that we have added for phase 1 and final phase of the OSS project. The first 6 of them were added for phase 1, and the rest, the remaining 11, were added for the final phase. Starting with the first one, this route can be used to add a participant to an assignment. So we have already added certain assignments and users to our database to be able to access these routes. There's an assignment with ID 1 and there's a user with ID 2. We'll use these. We can see that the response code is 200 and the response body of shows the participant that was added. So these details are of the participant that was added to this assignment. We can use the second round to remove the same participant from the assignment. So we'll just enter the same details here and we'll be able to see the message that says participant was removed successfully. The third route can be used to set the course ID of an assignment. So for assignment 1, we would want the course ID to be, let's say we want the course ID to be 1. So we run this and in the response body, we'll be able to see that the course ID is set to 1. The next route can be used to remove the course from the assignment. So for assignment ID 1, we just added the course ID to it. The course ID was 1. We'll just make that nil. We'll just set it to null here using this route. So the course ID was set to null using the fourth route. The next route can be used to make a copy of an assignment. So we just have to enter the assignment ID. And once we run, we'll be able to see that the copy was created. The ID of this copied assignment is 6. We can use the next route to delete any assignment that we want to. Since the new assignment that we created in the above route had an ID 6, I'll just use this one to delete that. So here we can see that the assignment was deleted successfully. So these were the routes we added for phase 1. Moving on to the next set of routes. These were added for the final phase. So there's a property in assignment table. It's called has badge. In this method, we are checking if the property is, if the variable is set to true or false. For testing purposes, we have added 2 assignments to our database. The first assignment has the has badge set to true. So once we run this, we'll be able to see that the response is true. And for this next assignment, for assignment 2, we have it set to false. So we'll be able to see that the response is false. The next one can be used to check if that particular assignment has pair programming enabled. So for assignment 1, we'll be able to see that the response is true. That means pair programming is enabled for assignment 1. And for assignment 2, we see that the response is false, which means pair programming is disabled for assignment 2. Moving to the next route, it checks if this particular assignment has any topics. For assignment 1, we can see the response is true, which means that the assignment has topics. And for assignment 2, we can see that the response is false, which means that the assignment does not have any topics. The next route is called team assignment. This variable will check if the assignment is a team assignment or not. The first one, the assignment 1 is a team assignment and hence the response is true, and the next assignment 2 is not a team assignment, so the response is false. The next route is it can be used to check if a valid number of reviews are present for a specific type. of review for a specific type of reviews if the assignment has a valid number of reviews. So for assignment ID 1, if we say if the review type is review, we'll be able to see that the response is true. This basically means that the allowed number of reviews of type review are greater than the number of reviews that are required. If we check for another type of review, which is called the meta review, we'll be able to see that the response is false, and we have a message that says number of meta reviews required cannot be greater than the number of reviews allowed. So that means basically in the database, number of meta reviews allowed are less than the number of meta reviews required. And also in this method, if we were to enter a review type that is unknown, we'll get a message saying that please enter a valid review type. The next method checks if the assignment is calibrated. For assignment ID 1, we see that the response is true, which means it is calibrated, and for assignment ID 2, we see that the response is false, which means it is not calibrated. The next route checks if the assignment has any teams. So here we can assume that the assignment is a team assignment, and we're just checking if that particular assignment has any teams assigned to it. So for assignment 1, we see that for assignment ID 1, we see that the response is true, which means it has teams assigned to it. And for assignment 2, we see that the response is false, which means it does not have any teams assigned to it. And also we had seen before that assignment 2 is not a team assignment. Moving to the next route, this checks if an assignment has a staggered deadline and if it has any topics. So this route will only return true if the staggered deadline variable of the assignment is set to true, and if the assignment has no topics. So for assignment ID 1, we can see that the response is true, which basically means that the staggered deadline is set to true and it has no topics. For assignment 2, we can see that the response is false, so which means either the staggered deadline is not set to true or it has topics. The next route is called create node. This one can be used to create a node for the assignment. We just have to enter the assignment ID. Once that is done, we'll be able to see the node that was created. These are the details of the node that was created. And the last route is called varying rubrics by round. This method just checks if an assignment has any rounds, and if it does, is the rubric varying across those rounds or not. So for assignment ID 1, we get the response false, which means that the rubrics are not either the rubric is not varying by round, or the assignment has only one round. And for assignment 2, we can see that the response is true, which means that it has more than one round and the rubric is varying for each and every round. That's about it. That's all the methods that we have implemented. Thank you.